Hi, and welcome to Module 4. Today is Thursday, November 2nd, and we are going to be covering the concepts of pay for performance. And what I would like to ask you to consider is that pay for performance could be a opportunity or a pay strategy that could be applicable, or I should say is applicable, to the Burger Boy role play case and answering those questions. So, what are we talking about? Let's take a look at some of these slides, and I'll discuss some of them, and I'll scroll through some of them as the topics roll out. So first, what we want to really consider is the purpose of pay for performance. And here you can see in this slide that we're really talking about behaviors. What kind of behaviors are important? And what kind of behaviors are we trying to elicit when we design a pay for performance system? Maybe the pay for performance system could be customized to solve some of the problems of Burger Boy. Just an idea to think about. So when we're talking about behaviors, there are the employers want certain behaviors from the employees, and the employees are willing to exhibit certain behaviors and not others. So employers really would like to implement the pay for performance system in order to elicit certain behaviors like improve productivity or improve attendance, and they would also like to use it to reduce or disincentivize bad behaviors or poor behaviors that affect the bottom line, like absenteeism or excessive sick days. And that's what we're really talking about on some of the ideas behind managing and setting up a pay for performance system. So what's the cascade? What's the link here? And I call it more of a cause and effect than a cascade, but you can see the point. And what we're looking at, the lower right hand corner, is we're really looking at the employee tasks and the employee team results. Because when you look at Burger Boy, one person can't do it all. So they have to run a team. And then the team is related to these individual goals, and the team goals are achieved when the individuals perform. And when the individuals perform as a team, then the store goals or the strategic business unit goals can be achieved at the corporate level, meaning how much money the corporation brings in when all the stores perform at or above a certain level or below a level. So some stores may contribute more and some stores may drag more. So we want to look at implementing a pay for performance plan or a strategy to address those issues of strategic business goals and achieving corporate goals. Okay, does that sound reasonable? So here we go. I alluded to the fact that pay for performance can reinforce certain behaviors, and you can take a look here and you think about compensation. Is compensation in the Burger Boy case sufficiently attractive? You see my point? And when we contrast it against our discussion in the Medtronic case, you can see that they have gone above and beyond market pay to attract and retain the very best. So pay is definitely related to this idea of finding and retaining people who will be able to perform the job and help you achieve goals. So here's more behaviors that employers care about. And what motivates employees? I think one important point is to go back and take a look at discussion 1.2. This is where we talked about the definition of pay, definition of compensation, and what you guys really as a class kind of came up with was that everybody is different. Everybody views compensation and wants different types of compensation in order to elicit the behaviors or performance that would be expected of them. So you can see that we've really covered some of that. Now, what this is this is just a slide on the components of a total reward system. Okay, the rewards being part of the total pay system. So we're just talking about the rewards. Okay, what types of techniques or things are available to you as a HR manager or a compensation manager to be able to award based on what a manager uses of these as incentives. So here's a little bit more definition. I'd like you to go back and take a look at these wage components. I think you'll find them interesting in the perspective that there are individual components, team components. There are components that are related to doing extra work as like bonuses. There's level pay, base pay, merit pay for producing more. So I think you'll see that these are fairly straightforward in terms of definition, and something that you could use in relationship to the Burger Boy case. Now, the question is really, does compensation motivate behavior? Can people be incentivized to perform better? And can people be disincentivized to perform poorly? Well, you can see that there's some factors that are associated with this. And when you, again, compare and contrast the compensation and how employees are motivated, you compare and contrast Medtronic versus Burger Boy, you can get some insights into whether or not compensation here motivates behavior. And so there's these key factors, really. And the key factors influencing the level of the person's decision is level of pay and the pay system's characteristics. The pay system's characteristics are directly related to the compensation strategy. So here we are talking about some things that employees want, or employees would like to see in order to perform better. Just scroll through some of these. I've already mentioned some of them and how they're applicable. Now here we are in the last phase, which is this idea of designing a pay-for-performance plan. I think it's really important because this relates to FX and H3B, and I'll show you where. And for those of you who are taking the class as a student outside of SNL, they all apply. So when we're talking about the first one, it's efficiency. And that means that the pay system, the pay for performance system, really does a good job at determining how quickly a reward would be paid. Think about spot rewards. And so you can see that with structure and standards, job analysis might fit in here. Now, for everybody else, we're talking about not for everybody else, but for everybody, we're, especially H3B, we're looking at this idea of equity and fairness in plans, meaning non-discrimination, meaning distributive justice. And distributive justice really means that everybody is treated the same. Everybody who is rewarded because they did something well, and everybody who has some sort of bonus withheld, or even may have money taken away because they agreed in a contract that if they get a certain number of complaints, or if they produce defective products that's going to cost the company money, for every defective product that may cost $1,000 to make, the employee might be docked $10. And that could be put into an employment contract. So that means that we have to look at how people are treated and how the process goes in order to evaluate whether people will be rewarded or disincentivized. And then, of course, HR has to communicate that. Now, it's important to sum up with this last point, because compliance, meaning following whatever policies are set forth, and of course following the law, is the glue that ties the pay for performance system all together. And so when you have strong compliance, you also end up enhancing and maintaining a firm's reputation as a leader in the field. And that is a key point, because as you know, reputation is everything. If the word is out on the street that the company is terrible to work for, it'll be hard to recruit. If the word out on the street is that the company is very generous in pay, then the company will have many applicants to choose from. So this is my mini lecture. I know it's gone on for quite a while, but I hope to cover everything that is applicable in pay for performance to and relate it to some scenarios in the Burger Boy case. So I just want to close with a suggestion and a recommendation that the success of your discussion with your partner isn't really about answering the questions perfectly or giving one right answer and justifying it. It's really using the terminology, pulling the terminology from the book, understanding the definition, and then applying it to solving a problem and being fluent in that. Because the takeaway for you is that once you practice this very unique and very specific vocabulary and terminology, you will be able to go back to your workplace and you will be able to talk to people in HR or in compensation or managers using their vocabulary, using the vocabulary that is normal, as professional, as a means of communicating your desires and your ideas with regard to pay and compensation. So that's really the takeaway from the role play and what I'd like to see you focus on, rather than having a exact correct answer. So that's it for my mini lecture and its application to Module 4. I'll be dropping in on you in class to encourage you or just to say hi. So thank you for listening to my mini lecture.